Hello and welcome to my very first YouTube video.
Yay!
If you do not know me from one of my Instagram accounts, then please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sara and I am the creator of Sleuth Style, where I design products focused on women in mysteries. I've also started my own personal brand that's called Sara Design Stuff, where I design stuff. So that's where you'll see more of my personal art, as well as some more behind the scenes of how I run my business at Sleuth Style. So that info is not just a shameless plug for my brands, although it partially was. The reason I bring those up is because it involves the topic of this video. So a few months back, I had created a reel where I designed a little mini fashion collection inspired by the video game Nancy Drew Treasure in the Royal Tower. It was so much fun that I really wanted to be able to share more of that process, because I think you would enjoy it as well. That's why I've taken it to YouTube, where I can make a longer video about it and you can see more of what goes into designing a fashion collection. So the game, I'm thinking that would be a really good place to start. Guys, can you be quiet? Mommy's making a video. I need you to be quiet. Thank you. Okay, so the game that I've chosen that I think would make a really great collection for spring is The Secret of... I'm blanking on the name. I've said so many Nancy Drew game names today that I can't even remember. Secret of the Old Clock, right? Yeah. The Secret of the Old Clock. The reason for that being is I really want to pull some of that gingham, maybe like a nod to like the baking of the pies. I really think it'll be fun to pull on like 1930s and 40s inspiration, since that's kind of like when the game takes place. All those elements I think will just make a really fun collection, and like I said, kind of really appropriate for the spring season. I'm going to document the whole process. So from gathering the inspiration and reference images to, you know, actually sitting down and designing the outfits. Ready or not, here we go. Let's get this project started. So the first step in my design process is to gather inspiration. I like to use Pinterest for that because I can use the search feature to look up specific references like 1930s fashion. I also pin stuff all the time, so I have literally thousands of pins that I like to go through as well and see if there's anything that would be relevant to the particular project that I'm working on. While I am doing that, I like to gather the pictures that I want to use for my mood board, and I place them into a separate document. And here on the left hand side, I am using Canva, which is pretty much what I normally use just because it's super simple. So as you can see, I like to keep only the essentials on my work desk, which is, you know, a cup full of multicolored pens. Gotta have some sparkly ones in there as well. I also have a stapler with a dog figurine on top of it. Has no staples in it, by the way. And of course, Jessica Fletcher, my coworker, who likes to keep an eye on me to make sure I don't goof off. So once I have enough pictures for my mood board, which I usually oversource, and I have to narrow them down so that I'm not overwhelmed by all the pictures. So because I copy and pasted the pictures as I saw them on Pinterest, they are already in my uploads on Canva. So I can just drag and drop the ones that I know I really want to use. So as you can see, I will just pick the strongest images that I think I will rely on the most as reference, and I start playing around with them. Once I have my pictures on my mood board, I could call it a day and just use those as references, which, you know, works perfectly well. But every now and then I like to go a step further and add some embellishments to the mood board, and I really like my mood boards to feel almost three-dimensional, so that's why I like to add items like flowers and trinkets and stuff like that. And here we have our finished mood board. Hello again. Welcome back to the couch. Okay, so we've come to the part in the designing process where we actually design. So I've been thinking about this, and I think I want to do something a little different than the last project that I did with, Treasure in the Royal Tower. Last time I used Adobe Illustrator and I just had some, static figures to put the garments on. But this time I want to try hand drawing the garments because I think they're just going to look livelier and not so flat. So probably the average person would just, draw a figure and start designing garments on top of it. However, I am not the average person. I am the lazy person. I really don't feel like drawing a figure, so I am just going to use a drawing that I've made in the past. So I have my sketchbook from when I was in fashion school. You can tell it's mine because of the coffee and food stains on it. Opening it brings back a lot of anxiety-inducing memories, but it's all good. It's all good, right? So I'm just going to take a picture of these on my iPad. I feel like an old person trying to do this. That looks good? Or good enough? So like I said, I'll trace those. I will have figures that I can just start drawing the clothes on. That way I don't have to worry about the poses and the anatomy and all of that. So let's get to it. So I'm just tracing over the figures. That way I have them in Procreate and I can reuse them. In here you'll see that my dog is taking a look over at my work. When I'm designing a collection inspired by a Nancy Drew game, I like to think about the elements that are within the game and how I can incorporate those elements into the design. And one of the images that popped into my head immediately was Josiah Crowley's mini golf course. I thought about the little horse that you get as a prize after completing the course. And for some reason, I just thought that would be a cool design in the outfit in some way, and I was trying to think of how can I incorporate this horse and have it make sense. So one of the ideas that popped into my mind was Elsa Schiaparelli's famous lobster dress, probably because it's the exact same colors. So I did my research and it turns out that dress actually was designed in the 1930s. So I figured that was a great reference to kind of go on and see if I could just recreate that look with a button down. So that's what I did. I took a screenshot of the horse from the game and I used that as my guide. And then I just kind of gave it a similar treatment to the Schiaparelli dress, and I just did some little black ink outlining. Finally, I thought that the bottom needed some color and some print, so I decided to incorporate kind of a modified gingham pattern into the shorts. I also really wanted the models to have hats because hats were a huge thing in the 1930s. What I landed on was a straw cloche hat, which cloche hats were really big in the 1930s, but usually they were made out of felt. So I'm giving it like a springy, summery vibe with this straw material. Second outfit, I had this idea for a skirt. And of course, I love gingham, and so I pretty much figured it was going to be a gingham pattern. I'm trying to think of how I could make it more interesting and creative. And one of the things I'm really focused on right now is upcycling. So this idea of taking an item and repurposing it for something else, I felt was very in keeping with the 1930s time period because of the Great Depression that just started. the year before. And so I decided that the skirt would be made up of different tablecloths. But then I wanted to take it a step further with the whole picnic and pie theme. So what I decided to do was create a more modified gingham that would also mimic the way a pie looks with berries and the pie crust on top. I also decided to pair the skirt with a springy white top, which I ended up changing halfway through the process. The last look, I knew I wanted to do a romper. I don't know why, I just for some reason really wanted to do one. I assumed I wanted to make it gingham, but at this point I had so much gingham in the other outfits that I felt I needed to change it up a little bit. What I decided to do was incorporate the lilacs in some way. So I decided to make a print out of just a photograph of a lilac, and I decided that it did need a little something else, so you'll see that I incorporated. So once I've drawn out my general concepts of the collection, I go back and I add the details. I added a lot of textures to make the outfits look more realistic and to make it easier to describe the looks that I was going for. Time to reveal the results. So that was my fashion collection inspired by The Secret of the Old Clock. As you can see, I dressed up for the occasion. I'm sure you're not surprised that I own a few gingham items in my wardrobe. So what do you guys think of the collection? I was really happy I could incorporate the lavender and even the saying time will tell, but I'm really pleased that I was able to incorporate the horse in an outfit and not have it look absolutely ridiculous. It might be kind of comical, but it's not totally ridiculous, I think. I mean, Nancy likes horse shirts, obviously, so I got one person on board. I also really like that I was able to use so many styles and ideas from the 1930s. Obviously, I love all the gingham. Okay, that's definitely getting cut out. And I was really psyched to incorporate the pie pattern into its own gingham for the skirt. Like, you might not notice exactly what it is from afar, but once you get up close, I think it's a really fun detail that you can actually see the berries of the pie. So let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your opinions. Let me know what other games you would be interested in seeing into a fashion collection. And also let me know what other videos you would like to see on my channel. They could be sleuth style and mystery related, or just general creativity. I am totally open to anything, and I would love to hear your ideas and just do something fun. So thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching my very first YouTube video. It's an honor to have you here with me, and I'm just super excited to be able to show more fun projects and do more fun stuff with you. So I'll see you around. Bye! Hello. Oh no, I don't want to be on camera. I'm camera shy. Incorporate, I say way too much. Okay, so we've come to the designing process. Am I like leaning in like, because I'm not convinced that the camera can see me. Oh, sorry, am I bothering you? Oops. And welcome back to the couch. I feel like it's a really weird thing to say. That sounded weird, didn't it? So beautiful. So beautiful. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I have my sketchbook from when I went to... Why do I talk so slow? It can be something that can be worn today. Worn. I think that's good. I think that's good. Oh, my babies. Kiss, kiss. Kiss, kiss. My babies. I will see you guys around, and I will see you in the next video. That's kind of presumptuous that you're gonna watch my next video. Also look at what I'm wearing. Fashion.